Hello, Jeb Brooks, greenergrass.com. Thanks for tuning in. Listen, I've got a meeting in Phoenix, Arizona, and I thought it might be interesting to go out with Delta Airlines and come back with American. Now, both of these tickets are booked in first class, so we'll have a chance to compare Delta and American's first class. So join me. Let's check out the differences. And here's the bird that'll take me to Phoenix. This 737-900ER entered service back in December of 2016. Now, boarding was very smooth, very easy, and I was alerted to the fact that boarding had begun through the Delta app, which I can't say enough good things about. Boarding began just more than 30 minutes before departure, so we were quite comfortable. Delta rightly displays many of their awards right here on the side of the planes. I find the aesthetic of this particular cabin to be very attractive. I like the blue and the red and the white. What do you think? I had plenty of time to check out all the action out on the ramp, and boy, there was a lot. It was a busy day in Atlanta. I think that Delta's in-flight entertainment is some of the best out there. Now, it's certainly not as good as Etihad's, but there's plenty in the way of options. The screen is very responsive, and there's an opportunity to keep an eye on your flight the entire time with their tracker, which I found very useful on this particular flight.
Belt, just lift the top of the buckle. Please remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened anytime the seatbelt sign is on. And even if the sign is off, please keep your seatbelt fastened in case we experience unexpected rough air. For everyone's safety, federal regulations require all passengers to comply with the posted placards and lighted information signs located throughout the cabin, in addition to any crew member instructions. Smoking, including the use of e-cigarettes, is not allowed on any Delta flight, and federal law prohibits tampering with, disabling, or destroying a restroom smoke detector.
Now that we're off the ground, let's check out this seat. One of the little things that I really appreciate on planes are universal plugs like this one that Delta provided. Now, the screen, which is just up here, is plenty big enough, has a place to plug in your headphones and a couple of other devices. Delta provides headphones, but I brought my own. And here is the highlight. This chicken was fantastic. The flavors were rich. I can't say enough good things about this meal. It was really, really good. I almost forgot I was eating airplane food. That meal did not last long. Before I knew it, that short 3.5 hours was almost over. Hello from Phoenix. So I've made it. Thanks for watching that experience. I want to give you my impression now that I've gotten on the ground. In the interest of full disclosure, I am a Delta Diamond Medallion flyer, which means I fly at least 125,000 miles with them every year, or have for the past, I guess, 4 or 5, something like that. Mostly for work. So I have a lot of experience with Delta, and let me just walk through sort of my impressions. First of all, I usually fly in the morning. I like to get the first flight out because there's less likely it's less likely to be delayed. However, because of some scheduling, this time I took an afternoon flight, which meant in the first class cabin I had the good fortune to try dinner, which is something I haven't done. And I got to tell you, the food is so good. Delta have really stepped up their game relative to their meal service. The in-flight entertainment is great. Part of the reason for that is we were on one of the brand new 737-900 ERs, which are just fresh out of the Boeing factory. Still has the new plane smell, and everything was very responsive in that regard. The seat was very comfortable for the 3.5 hours I sat in it, and have no complaints about that. Now, what I'll say about Delta crews, cabin crews, when they're good, they are unbelievable, and so genuinely excited about being of service to those of us in the cabin. Really great. Unfortunately, this particular crew wasn't. They weren't happy to be there, was the only impression. Now, one of the things I should say is I understand from my flight attendant friends that working in the 737-900 galley is challenging. It's very tight, and that first class cabin has 20 seats in it. So they've got quite a job to take care of so many people with such a small space. So perhaps that had something to do with it. But really what I'm excited about next is the flight out of here tomorrow. So I've got a meeting today, and then I fly out tomorrow with American in their first class cabin from here in Phoenix to Washington, D.C.'s Reagan National Airport. So I'll be able to make a side-by-side comparison of the two products and share it with you. So join me as we begin the next flight. Today's flight to Washington will be operated by an Airbus A321, just like this one. Getting ready to board. Let's check out this American Airlines experience and see how it stacks up against the Delta first class experience I just had. I'll let you know. There was plenty in the way of legroom. A very comfortable seat, quite frankly. A little bit more time to look out and check out the action on the ramp. Hey, American Airlines, where's the in-flight entertainment screen? Oh, I see. This older Airbus A321 doesn't have them. Even though there's no in-flight entertainment screen, The American Airlines website allows you to track your flight on it. This was a morning flight, so here's breakfast. It was okay. Not as good as the meal I had with Delta, though. Here's a trick I learned from Brian Kelly, the points guy. Prevent your salad dressing, or in this case yogurt, from exploding by popping it before you open it. Again, without in-flight entertainment, I'm glad I had my iPad to catch a movie. Soon we were over the crowded airspace in Washington, D.C. That's a Lufthansa 747 inbound from Germany on approach into Dulles. The seat was terrible, simply because I'm so used to being able to have entertainment, even in economy, and there wasn't any. There was no entertainment. Thankfully, I brought my iPad with me, so I had some movies to watch there. But if I hadn't, it would have been a very long 3.5 hours. Now, I feel like that's a first world problem, if ever there were one, complaining about that kind of thing. But it is real. It's a legitimate concern. The food at breakfast, as you saw, it wasn't as good as Delta's. Now here's where the difference comes. The flight attendant, there was only one to take care of the entire first class cabin, and she was fantastic. She was on it, constantly checking on us, had a smile on her face, very excited to be of service to us. It just goes to show the hard product can be fantastic, as in the case with Delta. But that crew that I had just wasn't what I was used to with Delta, and so it kind of spoiled the experience. Whereas the hard product with American, not as good, and yet the flight attendant made up for it. So all that's to say, look, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which do you think is the better experience? Which would you prefer? First class with Delta? First class with American, or I know some of you might feel pretty strongly about this, first class with somebody else. Leave a comment, let me know. Now, if you liked the video, please click that thumbs up button. I would really appreciate it. And more than anything, if you haven't, I would love for you to subscribe. I'm having an absolute blast making these videos. I want to continue to make more, and it just helps to feel like people are curious or watching. So a lot more to come. Thanks for tuning in. See you in the sky.